Welcome to the installation video for the Lee bullet feeder adapter bracket for the Dillon 550 and possibly 450 series presses. Some of the tools you'll need to install this bracket include 3/8" wrenches for the dampener and buffer assembly from the Lee factory kit to install to the new bracket, a 1/4" Allen wrench to remove your index screw, 3/16" Allen wrench to remove the pair of shell plate home screws, an 1/8" Allen wrench to back off your index grub screw, a magnet to remove your detent ball and detent ball spring, a die lock wrench to adjust your dies because the new bracket is approximately about 10 thousandths thicker than the factory bracket if so equipped. A couple other notes to be aware of: you will need a Lee bullet seating die, and the reason for that is this outside chamfer here, how it engages the bullet feed fingers so it does not smash them. It'll allow them to open up so the shell can go into the bullet seating die. Couple of notes on this: don't over tighten the screw, don't leave it too loose either to where your linkage will be loose. You can add some oil to these areas here, and you can also add some oil to this area here if you have any binding or chatter. Please note, if you're using older kits, Lee does sell this return spring. It is a must-have for proper operation. Never leave a bullet and the feed fingers at rest. What it will do is it will cause them to open up and you won't have any tension at all. What you can do if you accidentally do that, according to Lee, you can boil these, squeeze them together in water, and it will regain tension. Another note: these brackets that come with the Lee kits sometimes may require minor adjusting outwards here in order to achieve proper linkage between this point here and on this bracket here. Another thing to note: the Lee bullet feeder kits are mainly for handgun cartridges between 32 caliber and 45 caliber handguns. There are people currently trying to adapt these for rifle use. I hope they succeed. A couple of notes: again, remember, they are height and bullet caliber specific. This one here was actually for the smaller 380s, but the kit that Lee recommended for the 115 grains and its height was a little too tall and it was allowing the bullets to kick out. So a little tip was to order the smaller kit if you're having issues, or you can just order the die separately and notch it. Lee will make custom dies for your application. I'm going to go ahead now and turn the camera. We're going to go ahead and show you how to disassemble and reassemble your shell plate home with a new bracket. To begin disassembly of your shell plate home, you're going to want to go ahead and start by removing your detent ball spring, disconnecting your primer linkage, lowering your ram. You'll want to go ahead and break free the shell plate home Allen screws, raise your ram to the top, go ahead and completely unscrew them. Take them out, set them aside, lower your ram midway, remove your shell plate home and safety powder bracket. Go ahead and grab your new bracket. As you can see, the geometry is perfectly matched to the original safety powder bracket if your press was originally equipped with one. What you'll want to do at this point is go ahead, line everything up, get it in place, raise your ram midway, reseat the shell plate home back in position, start to locate and thread in your screws by hand. Raise your press fully to the top. Run the screws all the way down. Don't snug them up yet. Lower your ram. Make sure there's no binding in the primer system. Go ahead and push your ram fully down. Tighten your screws up. Raise your ram, reconnect your linkage. Just to make sure there's no binding. Then carefully reinsert your detent ball spring and detent ball, making sure not to drop them in the hole. Now what you're going to want to do is raise your ram fully. Take the assembly from Lee, pull out the actuating rod, go ahead and remove what you're going to want to do next is raise your ram all the way to the top. Go ahead and take your buffer assembly from the Lee kit, remove the actuating rod. You can break these loose with a 3/8" wrenches. Go ahead and remove that, discard the original bracket, take the hollow tube, place it up from the bottom, reinstall your spring, reinstall your dampener, give them a nice snug up, make sure there's no binding and it moves freely. Once you have selected the caliber kit you wish to use, go ahead and reinsert your tool head, your index, and your shell plate. Then what you're going to want to do is assemble the long linkage rod to this hole here in your bullet feeder kit. Go ahead and insert that rod into the dampener, raise your ram fully, push that all the way down until it touches the tool head. At that point, you want to back your index screw, your lock ring all the way out. Start to insert the Lee bullet seating die into the press. In the case of 357, you're going to want to go until it touches the case, and then back it out a full turn to almost a half a turn. Lock your die into place while making sure your bracket maintains a 90-degree profile to your tool head. Lee normally suggests touching the bullet seating die to the shell plate and then backing off 3 full turns, but their dies are designed to both work with, in this case, 38 Special and 357. 38 Special is a shorter case, therefore the die body is a little bit longer, so that 3 turns from the shell plate rule does not apply. If you were to do that, what you will end up with is crushed cases. Not cool. Now at this point now, what you're going to want to do is go ahead and lower your ram. Take your feed finger actuating rod, insert it, raise your ram slightly, lower it back down, and you want to make sure that everything is nice in alignment and moving as it should. Now when not in use, you can disconnect that rod, pull your feed fingers back, and go all the way down. In order to start loading bullets, since this is a smaller caliber, you'll use your small diameter tube with your bigger diameter tube on the outside. And go ahead and take a couple of bullets, start feeding them in to the kit. Once you've reached the point where you're ready to start feeding bullets into your cases, go ahead and reconnect the bullet feeder linkage. Now you're ready to start loading cases as normal. Once your bullet feeder has run out of bullets or you've run out of cases, go ahead and re-disconnect your bullet feeder bracket, linkage and set it aside, and you may continue your operation as normal until all your rounds are loaded. Wanted to personally take some time to say thank you for watching the installation video of the lead bullet feeder adapter bracket for the Dillon 550 and possibly 450 series presses. If you still have further questions on this or installation or just need some help, send me a private message, contact me via the sales ad on eBay, reply in a comment section on YouTube, or just in any of the posts that you might see this on Facebook groups. If I don't get back with you right away, I'm not ignoring you. I do try to answer everybody. Actually, I will try to answer everybody, because I believe in, treating people how I want to be treated, the whole golden rule. But again, I do work overnights, 12-hour days minimum. I do have a home firearms business as well. Somewhere in there, I've got a wife and 3 kids I got to spend time with. One of them is a special needs kiddo, so he takes a little bit more out of my day. Side note, remember, percentage of the sales of these brackets do go to help a buddy of mine who is a disabled veteran who runs a bike shop that organizes events for, like, Toys for Tots and other charitable causes, bike runs for, veterans as such. So, man, I appreciate that. I'm happy to be part of that. I want to give a special thanks out to Alex Manini for starting this project and allowing me and Chris to finish it and, basically build and distribute these in the U.S. Thank you. I'm happy to look forward to working with you in the future. I also want to give a shout out to Chris Clark, who's my CNC guy here in Mineral Wells, Texas. Man, if there's something y'all need, give this guy a holler. If you got a drawing, he can line it out, cut it out for you. Good stuff, great pricing, wonderful person to work with. I do have plans to try to adapt either an RCBS or 180 bullet feeder to this Lee kit in the future, but that's just going to come with time and money. Again, man, thank y'all for watching. If y'all have any questions, don't hesitate to get with me. Stay safe, keep shooting. Y'all have a good one.